Good evening, all people. Welcome to Fire the Word Wednesday night virtual Bible study. Thanks for joining us on tonight. Make sure you like, comment, and share this broadcast with your family and friends. Join us on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for our on-campus worship service. Pre-registration is not required. Mask, temperature checks, and social distancing are required for entry. Join us at 5:30 a.m. for It's Another Time to Pray every morning on the prayer line at 302-202-1104. Access code 945175. Call on all seniors. Join us every Sunday evening at 5 p.m. for our senior prayer call. Everyone is welcome to join in. Our next food giveaway will be on Tuesday, March 22nd at 11 a.m. Join Bishop Sharon Jones every Wednesday at noon for It's Another Time to Pray Noonday Edition via Facebook Live. Please donate to our ministry on this evening. There are 3 ways to do so. The first way to give is through our website, www.allpeopleint.org. Click on the Giving tab and give. The second way to give is through Givelify. Type in All People International Church. Our zip code is 32208. You'll see a picture of our leaders, Chief Apostle Arthur T. Jones Sr. and Bishop Sharon Jones. The third way to give is via Cash App. Our Cash App handle is $APICJAX. Let's give honor to our leaders, Chief Apostle Arthur T. Jones Sr. and Bishop Sharon Jones. We thank you and honor you both, and we appreciate all you do in ministry. We love you. Pastor Ardell Jones and Pastor Walter Hall, thank you both for all you do in ministry. We love you. Now, join Pastor Walter Hall and Minister Chantel Cross for Fire the Word Bible study. Let's get into the Word.
God bless you and welcome to Fire of the Word Wednesday. Thank you for allowing us to come into your homes by way of Facebook Live. And guess what, everybody? We thank God for Elder E because now we're set up on YouTube as well. Yes, that's right, Facebook and YouTube. Oh my God, I am so just blown away by that. Listen, you can type in All People International Church on actually YouTube, and you can also look at us on YouTube. I'm excited about that. Let's give God praise and thanksgiving for 2 of the greatest leaders on this side of glory. We thank God for our Chief Apostle Arthur T. Jones Sr. and Bishop Sharon Jones. And we also thank God for our co-host, Minister Chantel Cross, in our absence. And can you help me thank God for the finest lady in my life, Lady D, Lady Denise Hall. I thank God for Lady D being here with us on tonight. God bless you. Listen, on tonight, we're starting a new series. I'm excited about this series that we're about to start. I am so excited. The new series is titled Saying Yes to God. Do me a favor, type in those notes tonight, Saying Yes to God. Saying Yes to God. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Saying yes to God is a very easy statement to say. It's easy for anyone to say that they don't mind saying yes to God. Matter of fact, it was easy for me to even type those words in my tablet, in my iPad, saying yes to God. But as I mature in God, I have to admit, it's a little hard at times. Did I ever imagine to say yes to God? I mean, when you really say yes to God, you find out it's not easy all the time to say yes to God. I found out, though, that saying yes to God can be quite challenging. Saying yes to God, my brothers and sisters, can be scary at times. Saying yes to God, if you don't mind me being transparent and honest right here, saying yes to God can make you even vulnerable at times. It can cause folks that you never thought would turn against you to turn against you. When you say yes to God, saying yes to God will cause you to walk in an area of sacrifice and faith that you never ever imagined you had to walk in. Saying yes to God will cause the devil himself to wage war against you because you decided to say yes to God. But I need all the folks on tonight that have said yes to God to do me a favor. Type in those notes, the devil is still yet a liar. The devil is still a liar. My yes to God will still be yes to God. I don't care what the enemy tries to do. I still stand firm in my yes. Yes, I say yes. Come on, type on those yes, yes, yes. I discovered something. Watch this. You can't say yes to God and still try to do things your own way. Let me say that again. You can't say yes to God and still try to do things your way. It will not work. Let me say it again. You cannot say yes to God and want to do things your way, want to do things that's more convenient for you. Your yes to God has to be yes. When you try to say yes to God and still try to do things your way, it will not work. When you say yes to God, your daily affirmation has to be Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. God, I trust you with all my heart. I don't lean to my own understanding. Sometimes I don't understand why you're telling me to do this thing that you're telling me, but I don't lean to my own understanding. Sometimes I don't understand, God, why you're telling me to go right when I want to go left. I can't lean to my own understanding. Sometimes I don't understand. Have you ever been in a storm before? And you're in the storm and you don't understand why God had you in that storm? You don't understand why God had you in that situation? You got to say, God, I may not understand it, but I don't lean to my own understanding in all my ways. In everything I do, in all my ways, I have to acknowledge you. And God, you will direct my path. When you really say yes to God, that right there should be your daily affirmation. When you say yes to God, you have to tell God, God, I may not understand it right now. I may not even agree with it right now. But my yes to you is a yes. I may not like what I'm going through right now, but I still say yes. I don't like the way you're telling me to go right now, but I say yes. My daily affirmation has to be not my will, but your will be done. Question on tonight is, what does it really mean to say yes to God? What does it really mean when you say yes to God? Lately, Elder E, I've been meditating on this quite a lot. Been praying and seeking God, Lady D, concerning this question. What does it really mean to say yes to God? You must understand there were several people in the Bible that said yes to God. However, it didn't come without a challenge. It didn't come without confrontation. But their yes to God were yes. What I love about these people, truth be told, they were ordinary people. They were flawed people. They were people that were messed up and jacked up. Some were even insecure about their yes. But they didn't stop them. It didn't stop them from saying yes to God. It didn't stop them from standing firm in their yes. Noah said yes to God. When God told him to build the ark, Abraham said yes when God asked him to sacrifice his only son. Joseph said yes when God asked him to forgive his brothers who beat and sold him into slavery. Moses, my God from Zion, Moses said yes. He was stuttering, but he said yes. He didn't feel comfortable, but he said yes. When God told Moses to go to Pharaoh, to tell Pharaoh to let my people go, Moses didn't feel comfortable with doing it, but he said yes. David said yes. God asked him to fight that giant Goliath, only a slingshot and a few stones. Esther, my God from Zion, Esther said yes. But Mordecai told her, go to the king to save her people. Daniel said yes. When God told him to bow down and worship, when God told him not to bow down and worship other idols. Mary said yes. When the angel told her she would carry God's son, Jesus. The disciples said yes. When Jesus asked them to leave everything behind them and follow him. And our chief apostle, my God, our chief apostle said yes. When God told him to launch out in the deep. Aren't you glad he said yes? When God told him to launch out in the deep, aren't you glad he didn't say no to God? Had he said no to God, I probably wouldn't be sitting where I'm sitting right now. But because chief apostle said yes, sometimes, but he said yes. He was talked about, but he said yes. He was picked on, but he said yes. They talked about him and pointed fingers at him, but he said yes. When you say yes to God, thank God, you don't know how far that yes is taking you. You know how many people are depending on your yes. You know how many people are waiting for you to say yes. You have a group of people that God has assigned to you. My God, when you say yes, the folks waiting to hear your testimony. There's folks waiting to hear your preach. There's folks assigned to you that's waiting to hear what God has in you. But you've got to say yes. You got to stop looking at your situation. Stop looking at things around you, and you've got to say yes. Stop looking at your circumstances and say yes to God. Trust me when I tell you, when you say yes to God, you're saying, God, not my will, but your will be done. When you say yes to God, you're saying, God, my desire is to please you and not man. When you say yes to God, you're saying, God, I trust you. No matter how it looks right now, God, I trust you. No matter how it seems right now, God, I trust you. No matter what they say, God, I trust you. When you say yes to God, though you may walk through the valley of shadow of death, when you say yes to God, you will fear no evil. When you say yes to God, though they may slay you, but they can't defeat. When you say yes to God, when you say yes to God, you're saying, I love you, God, more than I love popularity. When you say yes to God, you're saying, God, I love you more than fitting in those little circles. When you say yes to God, you're saying, God, I love you more than getting likes on Facebook. When you say yes to God, there will be ups, there will be downs. But my yes causes me, my yes causes God to work things out for my good. When you say yes to God, you walk in what we call supernatural favor. When you say yes to God, you begin to walk in supernatural favor. When you say yes to God, you begin to walk in a favor that don't make no kind of sense. When you say yes to God, you begin to walk in a favor that would kind of confuse your doctors. When you say yes to God, you're walking a favor that causes creditors to approve you for the loan. And they don't know why they're approving you, but they're approving you for the loan. When you say yes to God, you can walk from the car lot and cause folks to give you loans for cars you don't even deserve to get loans for. When you say yes to God, God will bless you to walk in supernatural favor. I don't know who that word is for tonight, but I hear God saying you're about to walk in supernatural favor. If you believe God on tonight for supernatural favor, do me a favor. Type in those notes for tonight, supernatural favor. Favor that just don't make no sense. Favor that make people scratch their heads. Favor that have people shaking their head. Supernatural favor. My yes calls me to walk in supernatural favor. When you say yes to God, doors will open that you know you're not qualified to walk in. Have you ever had to say yes and your yes made you feel uncomfortable? Have you ever had to say yes and it didn't make you look popular? Have you ever had to say yes and the folks around you didn't understand your yes? Have you ever had to say yes and when you said yes, folks turned and walked away from you? You don't worry about who walked away from you. Don't worry about how they look at you. Don't worry about how they stare at you. Don't worry about if it don't make you look popular. Your yes be yes, and your yes be yes, and your yes be yes. Say yes to God. I'm telling you, there's no other kind of blessing. Woo. Blessing of walking in obedience. When you say yes to God, you find things lining up the way they should line up. When you say yes to God, need someone tonight who don't mind saying yes to God. They're typing those notes, yes, God, yes. I need you to type in those notes, yes, God, yes. Come on, type in those notes. Yes, God, yes. Come on, type in those notes. Yes, God, yes. God, I say yes to you. Yes to your will. Yes to your way. They used to say back in the old days, yes, Lord, I obey. Don't feel comfortable saying yes, but I'm going to say yes. Don't make me look, I'm going to say yes. People ain't going to like me, but I still got to say yes. You got to say yes to God, whether you feel comfortable or not. You still have to say yes. During my study time, I ran across an article discussed the importance of saying yes to God. Then this author, this article, began to talk about a very familiar prophet by the name of Samuel. I'm reminded many years ago, probably some 20 years ago, preached my first Sunday night sermon in this church. I preached from the book of Samuel, talking about prophet Samuel. I preached from that 20 years ago, right here in the church. I remember 20 years ago. And just to give you a little background on Samuel, his mother, named Hannah, barren for several years. We talked about this months ago. We did a whole series on Hannah. Remember that? On Hannah. And one day while praying, weeping in the temple, he was begging to give her a child. Made a vow, if you give me a child, son, she's specific in her prayer. If you give me a son, he said, I will take him and give him back to you, Lord. And he will serve you all the days. God answered her prayer and gave her Samuel. Hannah fulfilled her promise of bringing Samuel to the temple when he was just a young boy. He lived with the elderly priest by the name of Eli in the temple and served him in the Lord. He grew both in favor and in stature. I love that chapter, the book of Samuel, because it began to talk about when God called Samuel. Woo! When God called Samuel and gave Samuel a specific assignment. I love that chapter. Samuel at the time was a young teenager. Oh Lord, I got 5 minutes, so I'm gonna get through this book of stuff. I'm gonna get through this, and I ain't gonna get my tools tonight. We'll do that next week. Samuel's a very young teenager. He's sleeping in a bed when he hears someone calling his name, Samuel, Samuel, Samuel. So God said he runs to Eli, the priest, elderly priest, his mentor, his teacher. He runs to him, says, Eli, you call me? Eli looks at him, no son, didn't call you. Go back to bed. Went back to bed. So God said he went back to bed, laid down. Was he laid down? Heard his name being called again. Samuel! 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 He gets up and he runs to Eli again. Eli! Did you call? What do you need, Eli? What do you need, sir? I'm here. Your servant is here. What do you need? Eli looks up and says, son, I didn't call you. Lay back down. Third time, he lays down, about to go to sleep. Samuel! Samuel! He jumps up. He runs to Eli. Eli, you had to call me. I done heard you call me 3 times. What do you need? Eli perceived at that time God calling you. Samuel. This time, hear your name been called. Answer. I'm here, Lord. Speak. He goes and lays back down. 4th time, hears his name been called again. Samuel. 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 He then says, speak, Lord, speak. God began to tell him, I want you to tell Eli something. To tell Eli, because he's refused to get his house in order. Because if he ignored the sin in his house, not addressed it, he said, tell him I warned him time and time again to get his house in order. But because he refused to get his house in order, he says to Samuel, tell Eli, I'm going to judge, deal with him. Please understand, my God, that was not easy. Wasn't easy. Wasn't easy. Samuel, tell Eli what God said. Samuel was just a teenager word. He was just a teenager. God has given him this. That wasn't easy for him to say yes to God. To go tell Eli, his teacher, his mentor, what God has said. But in spite of his fear, Samuel said yes to God. I think, for a fact, there's some lessons we can learn on how to say yes to God. So on next week, Elder E, tell y'all can't see him right now, but he's looking at his watch. He don't look at his watch. Right, I'm going to do like Chief Apostle did. Tony, you looking at your watch? I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding. We're going to pick up next week, Elder E. Next week, we're going to pick up on different tools when you say yes to God. We're going to talk about tools. Implement, help you say yes to God. It's going to be good. I promise you it's good. We're going to talk about deep dive into tools you can use. Help you. We're going to pull from this book of Samuel. There's some tools Samuel used in order to say yes to your life. I promise you. Listen. For joining us. During these trying, they say yes. This is something. God, I want yes, yes. No matter what you do, how comfortable. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Don't you move in trust. Let your yes be yes. Don't you be double. Let your yes be yes. Don't be unable. And on the other side of your yes, my God, on the other side of your yes, there are going to be blessings. They're going to blow your mind. There's going to be supernatural favor that's going to blow your mind. Doors are going to open. They're going to blow your mind on the other side of your yes. Blessings. Father, we thank you for joining us. Father, I pray now. Thank you for blessing, teaching us to say yes, no matter what the circumstance, no matter how. God, and we this we pray. Amen. I want to encourage your hearts. I want to encourage your hearts to right there on the screen. There's different ways that they made it. Listen, give on tonight. You're giving on fertile ground. Watch God bless you like never before. Give and watch God bless you. Listen, you may be on tonight. You may be saying, listen, preacher, I'm in a church home I need to go to. I need to be a part of the All People International Church. If that's your testimony, please drop your name right there in that chat, right there in the chat, and I promise you someone will contact you. Listen, I want to thank you once again for joining us. I can't wait till next week as we continue to do a deep dive in saying yes to God. There's some tools we're going to discuss that you can implement in your life to help you with your yes. I can't wait to see you next week. God bless you. Thank you for joining us.
Join us on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for our on-campus worship service. Pre-registration is not required. Mask, temperature checks, and social distancing are required for entry. Join us at 5:30 a.m. for It's Another Time to Pray every morning on the prayer line at 302-202-1104. Access code 945175. Calling all seniors join us every Sunday evening at 5 p.m. for our senior prayer call. Everyone is welcome to join in. Our next food giveaway will be on Tuesday, March 22nd at 11 a.m. Join Bishop Sharon Jones every Wednesday at noon for It's Another Time to Pray Noonday Edition via Facebook Live. Please donate to our ministry on this evening. There are 3 ways to do so. The first way to give is through our website, www.allpeopleint.org. Click on the Giving tab and give. The second way to give is through Givelify. Type in All People International Church. Our zip code is 32208. You'll see a picture of our leaders, Chief Apostle Officer Jones Sear and Bishop Sharon Jones. The third way to give is via Cash App. Our Cash App handle is $APICJAX. Let's give honor to our leaders, Chief Apostle Officer Jones Sear and Bishop Sharon Jones. We thank you and honor you both, and we appreciate all you do in ministry. We love you. Pastor Ardell Jones and Pastor Walter Hall, thank you both for all you do in ministry. We love you. All people, enjoy the rest of your week and have a safe and amazing week. We love you.